Nigel Clough has dipped into the transfer market yet again. This time securing the signature of Kyle McAdam on a season-long loan from Nottingham Forest. As we continue to fill the gap and beat the boredom of closed season, it's time for another mini Mansfield Matters YouTube special as we talk all about the signing of the new boy. This time being Kyle McAdam on loan for the season from Nottingham Forest. And joining me to do just that, Mansfield Matters' very own Clive Parkin. Let's say hello and talk all things McAdam.
Hiya, Craig. Hello, everybody. Hello, Craig.
That bit goes on a bit, doesn't it? That drone bit at the end goes on a bit. I like that little bit of music, but it goes on a bit. Hello, Clive. How are you?
I'm absolutely sunny. Thank you very much.
Lovely to see you again. Happiest of birthdays since the last time we spoke. I can't remember who it was when we last locked horns. Was it Regan Hendry?
Oh, I don't know. No, I had the first one. It was when our...
Oh, you had Sweeney's return, didn't you?
Sweeney's
Yes.
return, the prodigal son, yeah.
Yes.
I still think probably of the ones we've had, he's the one that I'm most impressed by, but time will tell.
Indeed it will. Well, for anyone that has been under a rock or not managed to get near a phone or anything like that, let's recap, as we have done in all of these videos so far, what the club have put out on their website today. And that is as follows. Mansfield Town are delighted to announce the signing of left-sided player Kyle McAdam on a season-long loan. The 20-year-old, who can operate either the left side of defence or midfield, joins the Stags for the 2025-26 campaign from Premier League Nottingham Forest. Kyle has spent 12 years to date with the Reds, joining the club at 8 years old. And after a successful 2023-24 season with the Forest B team, the young prospect signed a 2-year deal which extended his stay at Trentside until 2026. Kyle enjoyed an impressive campaign again last season, recording 20 appearances in Premier League 2, as well as 3 in the EFL Trophy. He signed off the season by captaining Forest B team to a Premier League International Cup triumph, claiming the trophy via a penalty shootout over Lyon at the City ground. So a 20-year-old left-sided midfielder. Clive, I have to be honest, when his name popped through on social media and the alert went off in the group chat, I had no idea who he was, but a quick Google and looking at comments elsewhere, seems like he's a well-thought-of young man.
Yes, certainly it flew beneath my radar. But that doesn't mean anything. I'm not an avid watcher of other teams' squads. But I think the good thing about this, it's exactly the right thing to happen. You've got a local team in the Premier League with a big squad of players and a hugely better development facility than we have yet to get. I mean, we were on that route, but Forest are way ahead of us in that respect, just like Leicester and Derby and others. And it makes absolute sense to take some players that have reached that stage in their career where they need first team football that are unlikely to get it at their host club.
Yeah.
And we can be blooded in the EFL League One this year. It'll be a good league. It'll be good for him. And it'll be good for the Stags because we are always looking for that flexible left footer.
Yeah, it's a massive gap which we've got in our side at the minute, obviously, with Stephen Quinn, Uncle Stephen, retiring at the end of last season, or, at least leaving the Stags. Not quite sure what he's going to do with his future as yet. It did sort of leave that little bit of a gap. Stephen McLaughlin, I guess, would be a candidate you could put in that role. But again, age perhaps not on his side, and fitness and injuries, etc. Plus, Nigel Clough will see him a little bit further back. I know that McAdam can operate defensively, but I think this one, Clive, for me, is a player that's been brought in to maybe fill the Quinn void a little bit in terms of left-sided balance, but perhaps also as a bit of a replacement for Caelan Vickers, who we had on loan last season too.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that he can play either as a defensive left wing, left back, or a midfield left footer is the attractive thing. I'm sure that's one of the reasons he's with us, because we do need to be flexible. And of course, there will be times in the season when Clough will have him played on the right wing. But the reality is, young players that are fit and flexible is what this club lacked last year.
Yeah, and we've certainly looked to be sort of building that. I think at the minute we've got a little bit left side heavy, but there's still a long way to go in what you want. But I think, like you mentioned earlier or alluded to earlier, that link with Nottingham Forest and sort of having a higher Premier League clubs academy to drip into on our doorstep won't do anybody any harm. And realistically, I think any time we've had a young loanee from Forest, especially in recent years, it's pretty much worked out. I'm thinking back to Riley Harbottle, of course, who we had on loan from Nottingham Forest a few seasons ago. Thinking of the likes of Tyler Walker, going back a little bit further than that as well. I know over the years, George Grant is probably another one there as well. Forest seem to have a good academy set up with these players. He's had experience in Premier League 2, which for me is probably the equivalent of higher end League 2, lower end League 1 anyway. So it's a good opportunity for him to come and get some football. And I think Forest can see what we've got in terms of a setup here is probably an ideal progression for their young players.
Yes, if he can stay fit, he can have 40 games at Field Mill. He wasn't going to get that at the City Ground, so it's got to be great for him. And in respect to that, good for his host club as well. They've extended his contract for a good reason. They believe in the lad. Whether they still want him at the end of that extension remains to be seen, and it may well be there's an opportunity for us. But it's all about money, I guess, and we can look back on the Brunt situation. We got something out of the Brunt relationship. It would be nice if it'd still been available to us, but other clubs with bigger pockets, etc. But I just think we need to look in the short term, and the short term is we need some pace, we need some youth in the squad. He looks like a tall and dominant sort of player. Certainly, if he's been given the captain's armband on a couple of occasions, it would suggest he's got maturity as well.
Yeah, which is especially what we need, and I think what we lacked a little bit last season as well. I'm quite looking forward to seeing this one. I like it when we sort of sign a bit of an under the radar player because there's no expectation on their shoulders. But what we do know is that it comes from good pedigree and highly regarded. And no doubt this is not just one where we've gone right. We could do with a player on the left hand side. Let's give Forest a call and see who they've got. Like every other signing under Clough, I think that this one would have been very well researched and use that contact book and the almost insider knowledge to our full advantage.
Yes, I think within our management structure, we've got plenty of Forestites, and the network must still be there anyway. And I think there's a great deal of respect towards our management team from other clubs, and certainly from clubs of that stature locally. So I think we get the credibility because of Clough and his team that perhaps other teams in League One, League Two wouldn't get. And again, I'm a big, what's what I'm looking for? A big fan of players not having to travel too far to change clubs or to be allocated to another club. If it's another Plymouth Argyle player, didn't mean to pick on anybody there, but if it's a journey too far. And we've done ever so well out of players, both senior players and young players who've just down the road or just up the road. And this one, I'm assuming is local, fits the bill on that score.
That's a massive plus point for me because we say it all the time when it comes to, footballers, especially young footballers. This lad's 20 years old. Ben Waine wasn't much older. I'm going to use him as the example, but what he had to do was basically, uproot his life for a year, come to a part of the country he's not familiar with. He won't have known many people up around here. And that is a massive, massive undertaking for a young player to do, let alone to try and then establish themselves in a footballing side and play consistent game time. So, by getting a player in on loan from Nottingham Forest is ideal because if anything does happen, his parent club are on the doorstep to step in and sort of, look after him or give us that bit of advice or send him back there or whatever that may be. And he doesn't become as outcast as sort of loan. He will know the area. And I think that's a huge, huge positive for all concerned, really. And realistically, it's exactly what we need to be doing now, but for the teams lower down the structure. So we need to be looking at the teams that are in and around us local-ish, around the conference, National Conference North, and sending our young academy players out because that's how it works. We'll get a season out of Kyle McAdam, and then it'll be up to Nottingham Forest to see what they do with him next, whether they give him a deal, whether they give him an opportunity within their ranks, which, let's be honest, I highly doubt will happen unless he, pulls up some major trees.
It's
But that's
difficult,
what's
isn't
there,
it?
isn't it?
If you're a member of a Premiership setup where they are spending tens of £1 million on players from predominantly from overseas, and I'm not having a go at Forest because they're all at it.
Mm.
What real chances has the youth set network got of feeding someone in there? It's so slight. And therefore development away from the host club is vital. And so thinking about it from the lad's point of view, he's going to, if he stays fit, he'll get a lot of football. He'll experience a lot of what he's not seen before. He'll play in front of full field mill 20 odd times a year and some cracking grounds in League One that we've got to visit yet.
Mm.
He doesn't get that in PL2. They don't play in front of 8,000 home fans when he's playing for Forest's lesser side. And I think it's got to be great for him. He must be really excited about it because all the reasons we've just said, he's ready for that next development role. It's just down the road from him. He knows Mansfield by reputation and the management by reputation, and he'll have gone with the best wishes of his host club.
Win-win all round. Right, talking of all round, then obviously we are a little bit, I think, left side heavy at the minute looking at it. And obviously Ryan Sweeney brought in, Bailey Cargill signed his contract extension, Stephen McLaughlin has as well. We've now brought in Kyle McAdam. We do seem to be a little bit left side heavy. I know we brought in Kyle Noyle as well on the opposite side, but looking at how we're shaping up now, Clive, I think we're just waiting to fill in some gaps in the front line now, aren't we?
Yes, I think we're still 2 players short of what we need. I think we needed a finisher, and as you're right to say, we were a bit left dominated at the moment. So could do with a creative footballer who can play flexibly down the right-hand side. Somebody that can paint the Bishop Street stand while they're doing it.
Yeah, be handy. Give Sid a hand.
Yeah.
Be more than
Although I
handy
had a
for
look
him.
at it the other day, it's looking very jolly.
Yeah, it's just seems to be a nice little bit of work going off at One Call Stadium. I drive past it pretty much every day. Nice new club shop without any Castor branding, which I know that Nick is very excited about. The Bishop Street seems to be coming on. They seem to be doing bits in the car park and around the stadium.
A lot of blue paint everywhere.
There's a lot of blue paint everywhere, which is a little bit concerning, but we'll try and get it on some of the stands, I'm sure. So in terms of what we need then now in Clive Parking's ideal squad for the next season, where are you looking to add, and when do you think we'll be done?
I'm not sure my view is what the club's management view is, but we are precarious when it comes to strikers because what we've got, 2 players I'm thinking of can't be relied on for fitness, and if we're banking on them, we're leaving ourselves with a big problem. And I think the Welsh lad, whose name escapes me for a moment, come on, help me out. Got him
Will
from Newport.
Evans?
Will Evans, lovely lad, works his socks off, a little bit green. He's half the player when he hasn't got Gregory or a Gregory at the side of him. And for most of this last season, he's had to work without that because of Gregory's injury. So he's not the answer when he's alone. Gregory's no good with his leg in plaster, and God knows whether we'll ever see Rhys Oates again. We don't know much. That's the truth. And the physios at the club must have some idea and must be giving information to the management team. But I think we're a bod short there.
Yeah, we're 1 or 2 short in that area, definitely for me. But I suspect, Clive, that over the next 2 weeks there may be more of these mini Mansfield Matters episodes happening because we are coming up to what I like to call the free agent flurry, where everyone's contracts all of a sudden expire and everyone's there to be picked up. I know Nigel Clough likes to do his business early, but there's always 1 or 2 around this time now where it starts to get a little bit busier, especially with pre-season training. It won't be that far away either. So Clough will want to get his squad done before then, I think.
Well, there are still players and agents on holiday, I guess,
Mm.
and there'll be those players and agents that are just saying, "Let's hang on and see if we can get some. What's the best we can get out there?" And they may have had offers from clubs like Mansfield and say, "Well, thank you very much. We won't give you a decision yet," and we may never get them. But that's the way the football world works, I'm afraid. So it's to the credit that they've managed to get some signings early doors, because they were able to overcome that natural instinct that some players and their manager and their agents have, which is to sit on their fingers until the best deal comes along. And we've had experience in the past of having thought we've done a deal to find it's been snatched from under our feet because the agents decided he wants to earn a few more quid in commission elsewhere. Scurrilous sods they are.
Absolutely. Very briefly before we say ta-ra, speaking of contracts being signed and all things like that, Nigel Clough quoted in the media release as per, and very much to me looks like he's going to be here for the future, but still no announcement. What's going off? Is Steve-O suntanning himself on a beach? Or the media team lost the logins or what? What's going off?
Someone's nicked his biro.
There we go.
We don't know. We don't care. He's staying. Whether we like it or not, and I personally do think it's the right thing, he's not going anywhere.
No, he's not. It's certainly, I think it's just one of those cases now, isn't it? Of we all know it's happening, just say it's happening and be done with it. But there you go. That is the joy of football for you. Clive, thanks so much. I will see you later in the week, and I'm sure we'll catch up in due course, as well as we add yet more signings to the the squad as pre-season draws ever nearer. And of course, to you guys at home, thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed our little mini Mansfield Matters episode, make sure you do all that YouTubey stuff. What is it? Like, subscribe, comment, share, do the conga. I don't know what you do on these YouTubey things, but whatever it is that you do, please do it and help spread the word. And we'll be back for the proper podcast in July as pre-season draws ever closer. Who else is counting the days until the 8th of July for Retford away for that first pre-season friendly? Just me? Didn't think so. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Clive. Thanks to everybody else. We'll see you again soon as we talk all things Mansfield Town and new additions. Why? Because Mansfield always matters.